Okay, so we have now about just short of 40 minutes until the evening game. Let's see, what is the evening game? Free Folk against Greyjoy Winter. Okay, so we'll have a look at the decks before that starts. We have some time now to waste, basically. Join the voice channel again if anyone wants to chat, but I don't know. It's interesting times on the throne scene. We have this tournament concluding on Monday. Someone's gonna take a 4-3 lead ahead of the final game. The final two games are really tight. The last one's Stark Filthy for USA against Lenny Sea of Blood, which I think is slightly in Norway's favor, but not as much in Norway's favor that I would give them a huge edge. So it's gonna be really interesting and really close. And this one I had as a win for USA, but this one can really go either way also, because it's aggro into choke. I mean, one's gonna get their thing and the other's not gonna have a game. It just depends how it goes right from the start. So it's gonna be interesting. So that's one thing that we have, this conclusion of the World Cup. We just watched also the final of the Champions of Westeros, so that went to Super Duck, and next one starting up. I think registration ends on next Sunday, so a week from now. Then we go into summer season. And then yeah, also 8 regions, which is gonna be really exciting this year. So the regions have been announced. It's if I show you like a random jousting pavilion here from this list, it's really the top people this year. It's Super Duck, Alex France, Argento. Then we have myself, Francis, Right Way Down, Jim Henson, and the last one is Chrissy. Here he is, number 32. So all really top players except for myself. Okay, everyone has a 62% win rate. I have my 56, so I'm a bit behind. So everyone already starting with some advantage by having a really good player that wins everything in their team. But it's gonna be really exciting. I think it's gonna be really close this year, because these are not only the top players, they're also all active players who kind of know what's going on in the throne scene these days. So they will draft well. I think they will have players who are good, and yeah, I can't see anyone being all over the place like some teams were in the past. So it's gonna be really nice, and I have no idea how the factions will work out, who will take what. So registration for that is so we have 1 week for Champions of Westeros, and then we have until the Friday after that. So I'm not sure what date that is exactly, but basically you have less than 2 weeks now to register. We have I think about 75 players. Last year it was just over 80. Record was 100. We felt that was a bit too much, but now that the regions are also the I guess the more experienced players, I think they can handle it. So I think we'll get somewhere close to that number again when all the latecomers come in, all the people who like to be a bit dramatic and wait for the last moment, or wait until someone invites them specifically. So that's gonna be really nice. And I don't know if we have also plans for region study like we did last year. It was briefly discussed, but I don't know if we're gonna squeeze that in. I guess something to be discussed now.
When you were talking about people who are super dramatic, you forgot to mention people who pretend they're not gonna register unless Graven gets restricted.
Yeah, I did say that I will not talk about Greywind until the next restricted list, so I do like Greywind. I think he's great. Yeah, so we have other exciting things, honestly, going on these days in Thrones. So last night we had the first ever online melee event. I can show you. So we can't enter the results on the joystick pavilion like this. There is kind of a way to do it. Francesco was telling me about it, so I may enter them manually to just show who the winner was. It was won by Zegar from France. We played 2 rounds, so the winners of the first round had 3 tables. So the winners and the best second placed played the table that decided the champion, and then the rest of us just played the second round. And it went pretty smoothly. Had a few people not on the voice call, which makes it slightly more difficult, but I think we kind of managed, and yeah, it honestly works pretty well. There was one minor bug I encountered in one of the games where something wasn't triggering correctly with the redirects and everything. I don't remember now, but mostly it's just working basically. I think all the cards when it was just Joust available kind of already had the melee implementation, just the mode didn't exist. So it all pretty much works as intended. And it was really fun, and we might do another one in the near future. So I did a poll, and July 5th was the most popular date, and next weekend, Saturday again, was the second most. But I don't know if we can now squeeze another one in if other stuff is also going to be happening. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, also really good on the Iron Throne. I was skeptical, but I played the first game on the 5-person table, and it was a bit chaotic but really fun, and it worked very smoothly. I don't know, for 5 people.
Yeah,
It's
5 honestly is not that bad. Obviously, 4 is the sweet spot. With 3, you can. It's not enough, right? It's not enough people to kind of balance the game against the player
yeah.
who's winning, and so on. But 5 can kind of do
Also,
it.
with three
It's just a
people,
lot of stuff happening and a lot of players and a lot of time. I think it takes.
with 3 people, there are some special rules, right, as well. Without Crown Regent, playing without Crown Regent, and I think that's not implemented at the moment, but
Yeah, because
still.
that's not an official rule. I think that was simply because it was discovered that it doesn't work so well if also one player can just redirect in a 3-player game.
Yeah,
That
because if
was
one player can redirect, you have only one person you can then
yeah.
you can basically redirect to a person, which is by the way, we used to think when we started playing that that's how it works, but no, that's a bit too much.
Yeah, I probably did as well at some point. Have not really played that many melee games in my life. Just we played a few in person, played a few in some tournaments I went to, and the Stalik, of course, is where I've played most melee. But yeah, a chance to play more now for everyone, I guess. The difficult thing is getting people together, so I hope it helps if we, in the friendly open server, if we organize it a little bit. So the first one was obviously going to be special, so we got 3 tables for that. I don't know if I organize some random one now at some point, if we're gonna get the people. I guess there's only one way to find out, so we will do that at some point.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
and
really fun. I would recommend to join if anyone's listening.
yeah, I would as well. I think everyone said they had fun with that, and it was
Yeah, and it's good that we now have the option to also play Melee online because that means even those of us who don't have that many opportunity to play in real life can practice a little bit for Starek, you know.
Yeah, I have one deck that I always play because I can't think of anything else to build for melee. So.
And if you play more, you're gonna get some ideas probably.
Maybe. But once you start building, you see that everything's restricted. Can't do anything fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What else can we talk about that's happening? So we had the controversial rotation decision. That was a big talking point in Thrones in recent times. It was decided not to go ahead with the plan that was proposed. There's mixed opinions on that. Personally, I think it wasn't a brilliant plan, and I think I was happy that it's not going forward as advertised. Basically, to just chronologically remove a big portion of the card pool like that, because it also not only removes those cycles that it actually removes, it removes everything else that kind of now no longer works. And for that to work, we would have to have an FFG like system of releases that are frequent and replace everything, and mean that there's coherent teams always. But with all the work, I mean, to get cards list, it's such a process, and they don't come as quickly. I think now that we basically get 120 each year, it's nice. It's there are some cards, right? It's you can still call it a living card game, but it's not so fast that yeah, just removing part of a card pool would go without the collateral damage. But also it's not entirely finished, right? This idea of doing something along those lines. It's just that this plan was in the end didn't prevail. It's they said that they didn't think they could achieve the stated goals by doing it like that, but there's still discussions how to make sure the game is has a healthy future long term, and I'm looking forward to the ideas that come up, and I will judge them on each on their own merit, and if something looks good, then I will for sure be supporting that. And new restricted list also has come out now. It's not
Say about rotation.
yes.
I think most importantly, it didn't completely divided the community. I think some people were not happy, but they were, in their fairness, very did not cause any. I think there would be more complaints if rotation had happened. And honestly, that was my biggest fear with the rotation. Either way, the decision was made that it would split the community, and so far, I think it doesn't seem like it's.
Yeah, some people were saying
Very negative
if rotation's announced, I'm quitting the next day, and I don't know if anyone would follow through with that threat, but I suspect some would. Honestly, I mean, they already kind of did when it was being tested, and then when it was kind of hanging in the air. So it's not it's not fun, but I don't know. The fact that whatever you do, and someone's not gonna be happy because there's.
Paul says in chat that redesigns would be nice, and I honestly am hugely in favor of redesigns. But also, if you look at the survey, there was a question about redesigns, and that was also, in fairness, not very popular. Less popular even than the rotation.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So initially, when we did the redesigns in 2020, it was super controversial, and I don't think it had that much support. Probably it was kind of split like for the rotation, right? And after that happened, a lot of people were unhappy. The community kind of fell apart anyway because of first of all the drama, and then COVID at exactly the wrong time where we were trying to continue the game, and just killed off all the events, and that was a disaster. But also the post rotation period when some people were still playing with the original format, which honestly, at that point, you had to also do a bunch of custom restricted lists because the FFG kind of gave up on that before addressing the Shadows of the East expansion. They kind of left that one alone for the last Worlds, and it was it needed to be addressed. And it was controversial, and but on the other hand, I feel like it was a big success, and everyone that stayed in the game kind of, or most people agreed that some of the redesigns were really successful and was much healthier after that. Now, of course, we are 5 years since that, and the restricted list has now grown again, because that's just what happens when you're releasing new cards. That's not gonna stop ever.
New cards, and as well, people discover more ways to abuse cards, right?
Yeah, never can really get rid of the restricted list unless you did it again, right? But there is the risk of alienating half of the community again if you do another set of redesigns. But I don't know. For me personally, when the first one went well, I'm more open than most to that idea.
Yeah. Paul says that for Greyjoy it would be good to reduce the restricted list, and I think especially for like cards that are permanently on the restricted list, but are also then very rarely played because of that. Like, I think the 7-cost Asha is not played so much, right? It's rarely the choice.
Yeah.
You see her sometimes, but it's like
in winter you see her, but not in the Filthy conventional deck.
I mean, even in winter is hard, right? You still have to choose Balon, and now you have to choose also Night Flyer. So yeah, Night Flyer, in my opinion, could just be banned, but that's a different topic. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing
just ban
is,
Victarion. I wouldn't ban Victarion, but he honestly, the redesign could be a bit harsher on him.
yeah, the thing is that restricted list for Greyjoy includes some of the cards that actually were already redesigned and still will not go away. Victarion, I mean, it's just ridiculous. If there's another redesign, you have to concede that we messed up the previous one for Victarion, because if he's not on the list, I mean, then something weird is happening. But also Drowned God Fanatic. I mean, although Drowned God Fanatic was, to be fair, was genuinely nerfed. It's not so crazy these days, but it still is in pods. So.
Yeah, but again, it's hard to choose because you have to give up on draw so much. And like,
Yeah, and Nightflyer. I agree about Nightflyer. I mean, it's whenever someone's playing Nightflyer to good effect, it means something unhealthy is happening, basically. You never have 3 Nightflyers in a deck and have it be a fun experience.
At least he doesn't kill your opponent's characters anymore.
Yeah, the Drowned God Fanatic with Balon.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
You could just use the character you still with Balon, and then before it goes, you bring the Fanatic in and just kill it. That was honestly, I mean, I think the Drowned God Fanatic was bad enough even if that thing wasn't happening.
For Asha, I think at least it would be better if her ability was to reveal the card, because if he just draws, you don't know. Is it Reason? Is Egg?
Yeah, maybe it would help a little bit in terms of strength.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, at some point, it's if she draws from the top 17 or something, you kind of know that it's gonna be something either that's gonna be used in the next challenge as a reaction to winning, or it's a Reason, or it's the character that's coming in next after you try to reset, like a new Victarion or a new Balon or something.
Yeah, but at least you know what you have to play around, and I think it's different.
Sure. I know Steven hates the wording on Asha that she doesn't reveal. But she is the only. I think she is genuinely the only search effect in the game that has no targeting restrictions. So she can take anything. So you don't need to establish that you found an eligible target. So that's why she doesn't reveal rules wise.
Yeah, maybe she could search for just non-character or something like that.
Well, if you did some targeting restrictions on her search, that would be one way to redesign her, yes. Or
I mean, because you still have great options for non-character, but
the reason she was initially restricted so heavily back even in the FFG days was that she could stand so easily with Maiden's Bane, and then she draws multiple times, so even a limit would be pretty decent. She's still a character with an incredible deck search that has stealth and pillage and 3 icons. She would be slightly nerfed. I think she should be nerfed more if she was brought into line with most characters with that cost. But yeah, just a limit on her so she doesn't. We played in this World Cup against the Greyjoy Sea of Blood deck, right? I played one game against you in testing where I had I think Maiden's Bane and Asha in play, and you just had to concede because I was down to one card, but she was gonna just do it 3 times, and whatever control you try to do against me was just gone at that point.
yeah, but I don't know if then any of this is relevant because not sure if redesigns will realistically happen.
Well, we'll see.
Also, I heard from some people also that it might be a legal issue in terms of
Yeah,
remaking
we had
cards, but
one already. I mean, we all knew it was dodgy, still is kind of, but it's been 5 years. So. On one hand,
yeah.
it's kind of fine because there's no uh, benefit for FFG to shut things down. But on the other hand, you also don't want to push things when it's so clearly not super legal what we're doing anyway. Yeah. I mean, if
Yeah, I
anything,
mean,
FFG could use that to their benefit because people are still desperately trying to find the gates and shadow this, so they could print some more and sell them. Come on.
time for Yara Granger. Don't say such things, Polly. Horrible. Yeah, exactly what Connor says. It's still so stupid, by the way, that they changed Asha's name instead of just changing Osha, if that was the concern, because she's so much less prominent as a character than Asha is.
Yeah, but Osha
That
was
was really
in the
stupid.
show in the first 2 seasons and actually appeared, and Asha was maybe destined to be one of those side stories that's like Martell ended up being, right? Where you kind of don't see them.
Yeah, but I mean, Asha's side story and Martel's side story is some of the best parts. I mean, the Martel, the Dorn subplot is so good. Don't even, let's not discuss that. Yeah, Asha in the books is amazing. In the show, she's kind of meh. And the Dorn in the books is amazing, and in show, it's the worst part somehow.
Yeah, and I mean they got Duran, right, the actor to play him, the prominent character, and then what, had one scene and he did nothing.
Yeah, also, Elaria just killed Duran or something like that. That was the wildest choice ever.
Could be worse. I mean,
Dorn's story I don't think could be worse. I think they actively try to make it as horrible as possible.
for the first few seasons, even the stuff they adapted for television, where they moved away from the source material, wasn't that bad. So I've seen worse. I mean, anyone who's watched
Actually,
the Altered Carbon series, I think it was a few years ago, and read the books knows that that's horrendous, right? That's how badly you can do it. And in Thrones, I feel like that level of badness only started in the second part, in the later seasons. Still kind of
really in
acceptable
second
before.
season, yeah. In the second season, I think there was some really good stuff that was added in the show, like the scene with Cersei in the throne room where she's with Tommen and is considering if they're gonna poison themselves if Stannis takes over. That was a really good scene. And then Tywin rides in, through the door. That was one of tough scenes from the second season. Love that. And that was not in the books, and it was super memorable. So definitely early on, good start, but you can also see when George R. R. Martin stopped collaborating with the show really much.
Yeah.
So when's the game starting?
In 10 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Just reading the restricted list discussion on Discord. Also, yeah, I forgot to finish my
Yeah,
thought
sorry, I
earlier.
just
So,
had
a restricted list, new one coming out. Also, kind of was one of those lists that wasn't that impactful. I think it Martel got some cards back, Night's Watch got stuff back, and nothing really new got restricted from the factions that were doing the best, which is Baratheon, Targaryen, and Tyrell. So that will presumably come in the one before Stalek, after we see what happens over the summer and in the 8 regions as well. Though 8 regions kind of sucks as a tournament to base a restricted list on, but basically we are keeping everything that we have at the moment. So, but I'm reading on Discord now. I caused some controversy by pointing out Targaryen winning a tournament yesterday. The Crasters in Germany was won by Targaryen, but got the usual reply that it doesn't count because it's Leonard winning. So funny though that when he brings Martel to one of these German tournaments, he doesn't win. It's just Targaryen wins.
To be fair, he was doing well with Mortal deck as well. I think more for me, I just people dismiss Burn all the time, right? So I think you can't really dismiss Burn at the moment. I think it's going really strong.
It's pretty good. It had a really good World Cup also. The Norwegian one was pretty good. The French one, I think, won almost everything.
French one, and that's like with two different Dennis, so both versions seem to be like doing well. I think the one that Alex played was also doing good. Um, Also the Czech Alex also plays the summer deck pretty successfully, I think. So I don't think we can say in this current meta that Burn is not viable.
Czech Alex was won also yesterday, right? With Stark
Yeah,
Trident,
but
he
it's
won in Prague.
yeah.
So Stark also doing well. Stark Targaryen in the
Stark
since the new
Trident has
restricted
now
list, Stark and Targ are the best factions.
you forgot to mention Bara and Tyrell on there as well.
Well,
But
Bara has done
that's
nothing
fine.
since the last restricted list, to be fair. I joke a bit, of course. I think it's not too bad. I mean, the fact that the few factions who got who were slightly behind got stuff back should bring them in line
I-
with the top ones, so it should be pretty balanced in theory at the moment, and we'll see if that's the case in the
Nexus
upcoming
wasn't really
tournaments.
that behind, but I do think that the some decks will hit too much on the previous restricted list, but others are still good. I think if you consider that long voyage deck that Super Deck played, I think that got hit so much. I think it got 3 new restricted cards on the previous list, so maybe it's fair enough to give Hob back. I am open to that being okay, but now it's also Seasoned Woodsman back, and you know how that is. But also, I think there was some discussion about loan that was released. Was it last restricted list or even one ago? Uh,
Lone has been back for a while. We had it for the World Cup to put in the Shadow decks. So not this one, but
yeah,
the one previously.
yeah, and mm, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was around so much, but I think the guys from Czech Meta say that it was in like every deck or very um, popular. But to me, it was a bit like I think it's fair that you reconsider, cards that are on restricted list that are never being played to at least see if they're released, what happens.
Yeah, Lone was
And that was when I
was
never
gone. Yeah,
saw Lone being picked as the restricted card
very
when it
rarely.
was. I honestly don't think that I saw. I can remember a single deck off the top of my head that had that as the restricted card.